Hey guys, Zach here from the Chaos Galaxy, and today I'm going to be doing a rule video for the Chaos Galaxy TCG because I think these planet profiles are getting a bit boring and I thought I'd like to break them up a bit. So yeah, hopefully this will actually mean my videos make more sense now and you'll have some idea of what I'm talking about because you'll know how to play the game. So the rules are still changing and evolving, and I still need to test some things out to try and make the game as good as I can make it. But this is what I've got so far, and like I said, there will be changes to this in the future, definitely. Which is why I was a bit reluctant to make this video, but you know, I just wanted to let you guys know how the game's played, so hopefully my videos will actually start making some sense. And yeah, this is just what I've got here on my laptop computing device so far. The Chaos Galaxy is a trading card game played by 2 players. Each player uses their own galaxy, made up of 40 or more cards, and that's the equivalent of like a deck in other games. Obviously it'll be bigger than this because there's 40 cards and I've only got like 7 or 8 example ones here. And the aim of the game is your creatures on your planet battle your opponent's creatures on their planet. When one of your creatures wins a battle, you get a point, and the first player to reach 20 points wins. So the aim of the game is pretty simple. So yeah, at the beginning of a game, you shuffle your galaxy like this, and you just put it to the side somewhere out of the way, and then you draw 5 cards, and this is your hand, and you get to look at these ones, and you don't look at the cards in your galaxy or their order or anything. Yeah, you also start off with, you're probably wondering what this is, you start off with a planet zone, and in this zone you can place 1 planet card. It can be any planet card, it doesn't matter which one. The way planet cards work is they're used with all the creatures in your galaxy. For this one I've got the planet Shios. And now if you are making a galaxy that's made predominantly of Shios creatures, like these guys, then you're going to want Shios as your planet. Because planet cards, they affect all the creatures of a certain type of planet. So, you know, if you're using all Shios creatures, then you're not going to want to use a planet card for a different planet. So Shios here reads, all Shios creatures on your planet gain 50 power. So here, if you play Spark Eye, he will go from 60 to 150 power when you play him. But then if you were to play a card like Transponge here, his power would just stay at 20 because he's from the planet Pelisium, not Shios, unlike Sparkeye. This is what your planet looks like at the start of a game. And the player who goes first is determined by like rock, paper, scissors, or rolling a dice, or just some fair way of choosing who goes first. At the start of your turn, after you've drawn your 5 cards, we're saying that I'm going first here, you gain 4 stars. Stars are like the currency of the Chaos Galaxy. You pay them to make moves and things, and you can have no more than 20 stars. So say you're on 17 stars at the beginning of your turn, and then you would gain 4 stars, taking you up to 21, but because you can't go past 20, you just stay at 20. And yeah, it's pretty unlikely that you'll get to 20 stars, but yeah, if it does happen, just let you know you can't go past 20. And stars are used to play creatures and zones. Now I'm going to tell you a bit about zones, because at the start of the game you have your planet here, but you can't play anything because you have no zones. And zones are where you play cards. So, say if you had a creature zone on your planet here, you would be able to play 1 creature. However, because now your only creature zone is full, you can't play another one because you've got no zone to play it in. And to play your first zone, you have to pay 2 stars. So at the start of your turn, your stars will be 4, and then you can say, right, so I've got my hand here, but I can't play anything. Sorry, 5 cards in your hand. I've got my hand here, I can't play anything, so I'm going to have to buy a zone. So you pay 2 stars to play your creature zone, and now your stars would go down from 4 to 2 because you've paid 2 of them to play this zone, and you'd be able to play a creature by paying its stars. So Spark Eye is only a 1-star creature, so you pay 1 star and then be able to play him in your creature zone. There are 3 types of zone I've made so far, apart from planet zones, because they're just there, like you can't buy planet zones, they're just there all the time. But there are 3 types of zone. We've got creature zones, resource zones, where you play your resource cards, and creatures are where you play creature cards. You can't play a creature in a resource zone, say, and vice versa. And then battle zones. Now, battle zones are a bit weird. I'm going to tell you about them later on, or in another video. Let's see if I have time. You can only play zones during your turn, and you can play any amount of zones in 1 turn. So I'm just trying to read stuff off my computer here. And to play your zone, you must pay stars. Obviously, the first one requires 2 stars. And now this doubles every time. So I'm just going to move your planet out of the way. It's still there, but I'm just going to put the focus on these zones here. So you have 1 creature zone, which has cost you 2 stars. Now to play another creature zone, it doubles every time. So if you wanted to play a second creature zone, it would cost 4 stars. And then if you wanted to play a third on top of that, you'd have to double it again. So yeah, double 4 is 8. So to buy your third zone, it would cost 8 stars, and so on and so on, and then 16. And then the fifth zone, and any more zones after that of the same type, they would cost 20, because like I said before, 20 is the max. So you can play any amount of zones. You could have 100 by the end of the game, but obviously it's not going to happen because you'd have to pay all your stars. So yeah, this would cost, your fifth one would cost 20. Then if you wanted to buy a sixth one, that would also cost 20. Seventh would cost 20. But so yeah, it starts at 2 and then doubles every time until you get to 20. And now if you wanted to buy a resource zone, which is a different type of zone, because you don't already have any, this one would only cost 2 stars. So you could play that for 2 stars, and then if you wanted to get another resource zone, regardless of how many creature zones you have, you can get another one, and because you've already got one, which costs 2, it would double again, so this would be 4, and then 8, and so on. So I'm sure you can figure this out by now. If you can't, then I'm sorry, I'm not very good at explaining things. And now, playing cards. I'm going to start off with playing creatures. So you have your planet here, and let's say you have 8 stars, and you've got, right, let's say you've got 3 creature zones out and 1 resource zone, and you want to play Meltalon. Now if you have 8 stars, you could pay 6 stars during your turn to play Meltalon, which would put you down to 2 stars. Now there's no limit to the amount of creatures you can play in a turn, just as long as you have enough stars to play another one. So if you then wanted to play Manflacky here, you wouldn't be able to, because you've only got 2 stars left, and he costs 4. So you'd have to wait till next turn when you've got more stars, or you could play a resource card, such as Galaxy's Gift, which just gives you 2 stars. So you play Galaxy's Gift, you gain your 2 stars, so you go from 2 to 4, and then you can play Manflacky. But now you'd be on 0 stars, because resource cards cost no stars to play. As you can see, they don't have a star bar there. And like I said before, cards can only be played in the right zone. Say you've got some more stars now somehow. You couldn't just go playing Spark Eyes willy-nilly in resource zones, because he's not a resource. He's a creature, and he must be played in a creature zone. Now, just to confuse you even further, there is another type of creature, and like regular creatures, they have a planet, they have power, they have health, some of them have abilities, and they must be played in creature zones. However, they do not have stars, and they're not just one card. They are combiner creatures, which require you to draw both parts of them and have them both in your hand, and then you can play them both as one card. However, they require 2 creature zones to be played in. You can't go like this and try and play them in one zone, because they don't fit, and that's just silly. You have to play them in 2 creature zones, and the creature zones must be next to each other as well. So I'm a bit picky about this, because it's quite good for like strategy and stuff. If you have your creatures out like this, you can't just go, right, I want to play a combiner creature, so I'll just move my Meltalon into this zone, so I've got 2 zones next to each other. No, they have to be played next to each other, and they have to go. So you couldn't do it like this either. Right, I'll play these 2 halves and do that. It will give you the name of this card, and then it will say plus the other part. So together these 2 parts create a card called the Island Beast, and this part is Island Beast Mountain, with the mountain. And then to play it as one creature, you must also play Island Beast Plain. So here we have Island Beast Plain, and then we have the mountain in its description. So you have to play those next to each other, and then they become one creature, like that. They work like any other creature, so they're still affected by a planet card if it's of the right planet. And yeah, so that's combiner creatures. I'm going to tell you about the different types of resource cards now. There are 2 types of resource cards. There are single-use resource cards and permanent resource cards. And the way to distinguish them, because they're the same colour, the way you can see is in the bottom corner here, a normal resource card, a single-use one, will say resource, and a permanent one will say permanent resource. And then single-use resource cards are played. You just put them in a resource zone, they get their ability, and then they die straight afterwards. Now this one is called Resource Conjurer, and it states you add 1 resource zone to your planet. So you'll play it, get your extra resource zone for free. You don't have to pay stars because it comes from the card ability, and you're not just buying it with your own stars. So the Conjurers are pretty good, and then there's cards like Creature Conjurer, which lets you get a creature zone and stuff. So yeah, use that and now it's gone. However, actually, I've chosen a really bad example here. Okay, so if you want to play a permanent resource card, like the Upside Down Realm here, which reads, all increases and decreases to a creature's power and health are reversed instead. So you play that, and because it's a permanent resource, it stays there forever, or until it gets killed by a card. Say your opponent plays a card that says, when you play this, kill one permanent resource on your opponent's planet. So then it'd die, but like the zone would stay because they stay there forever. Unless your opponent has a card that says kill one zone or something. But yeah, so that stays there forever, and then you can play other resource things around it, and yeah, resource zones are pretty simple, to be honest. Now the final type of card I'm going to go through today, they are nothing to do with zones. They're pretty cool. They're called attachment cards, and we're saying these ones here are your planet, and these ones here are your opponent's planet. And so you've got a man Flacky out, you know, 250 power, he's alright. But your opponent has a really powerful Meltalon on their planet with 400 health that your man Flacky's not going to get past. Now the cool thing about attachment cards is that they don't take up zones at all. If you want to play an attachment card, say, we'll just pretend that this one says the attached creature gets 50 power. So what you do is you take it and then go to your man Flacky and you put it behind it like that. So now both players will know that your man Flacky has an extra 50 power from an attachment card. Attachment cards are really useful because they don't have, they don't take up zones, and also you can put any amount of attachment cards on one of your creatures, and also you don't even have to play them on your own creatures. Any attachment card can be played to your creature or your opponent's creature, but a lot of them, like, you wouldn't want to attach them to your opponent's creature because they give like boosts and stuff that are good. However, this one, called KO, you can see someone's about to get punched in the face. It reads, the attached creature's health becomes 0, but no points are awarded when it dies. So you attach that to your opponent's Meltalon, and then you can use your man Flacky to kill that Meltalon because it has 0 health. But then because of KO, you wouldn't get any points from it, and then this would be killed and go to your opponent's dead cards, and then your KO, because it's yours, it would go to your dead cards. And yeah, those are just attachment cards. Not much to say about them. They're really useful. And yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching my first rule video for the Chaos Galaxy TCG. I didn't have time to go through battle zones in this video, so I'm probably going to be doing them in my next rule video. I don't know when I'll put that up, but yeah. So hopefully you're getting an idea of what's happening with the game and how to play and stuff. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe if you did. Stay tuned for my next video, which is going to be a planet profile for the planet Sindian, the other half of the evil planet Sindel. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.